What is up, guys? It's your boy, Rick. My wife's due date is today, but this baby is taking longer than one of my intros, Cactus. And today, guys, I thought it'd be fun to go over 5 exotic weapons that I would highly recommend getting ready. So going out, getting the catalyst for, infusing them, getting them if you don't have them for the upcoming Season 18. Now, why is that? What's my criteria for choosing these weapons? Because we really don't know too much about Season 18. In fact, we're going to learn about this season mostly the morning of when the Destiny 2 showcase happens. Well, we do know one very important thing, and that is Arc 3.0 is 100% coming next season. So we are going to have a huge emphasis on Arc and Arc subclasses, and we'll be getting super powerful artifact mods to enhance those things, just like Volatile Rounds and Void 3.0 and Classy Restoration and Solar 3.0. So all 5 of these weapons are going to slot perfectly into Arc 3.0 builds and are likely to become super meta next season. So let's start here with number 5, and that is the Anarchy Exotic Grenade Launcher. So this thing was the best exotic weapon in the entire game for PvE for quite a while, actually. It was the recipient of some pretty substantial nerfs, but it still remains pretty darn powerful. It essentially does what the Witherhorde does in heavy arc form with some neat twists. Essentially, you can shoot enemies with the Anarchy Grenade Launcher and they're going to tick down and take constant damage, which lets you switch to other weapons for DPS while they're still continuously being damaged by the Anarchy. You can also shoot and connect Anarchy shots along the ground, making areas of denial super good for ad clearing, actually. And this is just a fantastic weapon to pair with another grenade launcher. We've had super meta grenade launchers being released recently, such as the new one from the dungeon that has chill clip and blinding grenades. Absolutely insane. So use both of those, and then your grenade finders and scavengers are working double time. But moving on from there, guys, pick number 4 here. That's going to be the Divinity Exotic Trace Rifle. Now, yeah, 2 raid weapons in a row. I know these are harder to get, but the Divinity is one of the better exotic weapons in the game right now. It is already seeing a lot of play, especially in endgame content, wherever you have champions, because this has built-in overload rounds, and you have one guy using the Divinity, they're going to shoot an enemy and an orb is going to form around them. Any allies that shoot this orb are going to get precision shots and have their damage boosted. So the Divinity is also used in endgame DPS strategies. Like, it is a really powerful weapon. And the fact that it's Arc means that I think you'll start to see more people utilizing the Divinity, because now you also have the Divinity Snitch able to utilize the Divinity, benefit the rest of the team spectacularly, but also is now going to be able to do things like generate Arc Elemental Wells for themselves and potentially boost their own capabilities quite a bit, so that they're not just regulated to helping the rest of the team and not being able to do too much themselves. Perhaps they're going to be able to be utilizing melees, supers, grenades, and doing a lot because of all those Arc subclass synergies that the Divinity being Arc is enabling. So potentially could see a big uptick in usage. In any event, guys, it is time to move on to weapon number 3, and that's going to be the Thunderlord Exotic Machine Gun. So yeah, I really think this has a chance of seeing a lot more play next season, because mainly machine guns got a massive PvE damage buff just this season. This thing is doing 40% more damage against every single enemy in the game, except for bosses, where it only does 20% more, but still 20% more against bosses is insane, especially when the Thunderlord is, well, first of all, generating lightning and clearing ads like you wouldn't believe, like you can see in the background gameplay. Holy crap, this thing can clear red bars like nothing. But now it's also going to be able to shred through any yellow bar it encounters because of that 40% damage damage boost, but also, on top of that, the lightning round's intrinsic trait means that it's gonna fire faster as you hold the trigger, boosting its DPS even further. Guys, if you use this thing right now, you're going to be shocked by how powerful it is. And then next season, the fact that you're going to be getting all of those arc synergies, you're going to be getting so many arc elemental wells because you're going to be demolishing groups of adds. And really the only thing that's needed for this thing to become really meta, in my opinion, is just like machine gun anti-barrier rounds. Something to deal with champions, and then you're going to be slotting this thing into a ton of builds. Not to mention that Titans can put on the Actium War Rig exotic chest piece to let this thing reload consistently as you're shooting it, which, as you might imagine, pairs very well with an increased fire rate as you hold down the trigger. But guys, it's time to move on from there to the second place weapon here, and it's gonna be the Trinity Ghoul exotic bow. And I'm sure a lot of you guys expect this to be number one, but holy crap, this thing is unbelievably powerful. So, what it's going to do is after you get a precision kill, then it's going to essentially charge the arrow, and then when you shoot that charged arrow, it's going to chain between enemies. The thing is, this really relies on its exotic catalyst. If you don't have the catalyst, honestly, this weapon wouldn't be on the list at all. But with the catalyst, it makes it so that any kill with this weapon will give you that charged, super powerful AoE electrocuting arrow. As you can see in the background gameplay, you shoot a bow, it chains between enemies, it charges the next bow, you shoot the next bow, it chains between enemies, you just keep doing that. Essentially, you have what is almost like a rocket launcher level of ad clearing capabilities with each shot of this simple combat bow. Truly absurd, used even in endgame scenarios. I remember using this in day one of Vow of the Disciple just to clear ads, and it was great at that. Like, this is a genuinely phenomenal weapon. If you're trying to get kills, to do subclass synergies, the Trinity Ghoul is going to be very, very good at decimating groups of ads. The only place it falls short is against more powerful enemies, but I mean, it's a primary, right? So who cares? It's going to be used for clearing red bars, and it is one of the best weapons in the entire game for that. So, what the heck is number one? Well, guys, I think it's going to be the Risk Runner exotic submachine gun taking that number one spot. And here's why. Firstly, it's a widely available weapon. It's actually going to be a guaranteed reward that you get out of one of the new player quests. So if you don't have this thing, I think you can go back to the quest kiosk in the tower and kind of start the new player quest and eventually get this thing, I do believe. But also, unlike the Trinity Ghoul, this isn't as reliant on the exotic catalyst. It works perfectly fine without it. And this thing is right up there with the Trinity Ghoul when it comes to ad clearing capabilities. So all you need to do is take arc damage, and holy crap, this thing turns into a monster. It's going to constantly regenerate ammo, so you can hold down the trigger, it's never going to run out. And as you can see, it's going to chain electricity similar to the Trinity Ghoul between enemies, absolutely decimating red bars, like just destroying them. But also, when you're in this mode, you can also steamroll yellow bars. Like, it does a surprising amount of DPS against those guys too. But really, the reason this is in the number one slot is because I think this is gonna have PvP potential. And that's because that arc damage you take, guys, it's reduced by 50%. So what's happening right now in the Crucible, right? You're seeing a lot of solar being used. You have Lordly Splendor Titans, you of course have the classy Restoration Hunters, all of that stuff, guys. When Void 3.0 came out, same thing. The Crucible meta completely shifted towards Void. So when Arc 3.0 is the new hot thing, of course you're gonna verse a ton of people with Arc things, and you're telling me I can put on the Risk Runner, and if they throw an arc grenade, I resist 50% of that damage? Yes, Yes, that's what's going to happen. And so the Risk Runner is going to be the answer to the meta while still also letting you be part of the meta, because of course it's going to work with all of your arc stuff. It's going to, in PvE produce those arc elemental wells, all of that stuff. It's a 900 RPM SMG, which is pretty meta. The catalyst boosts the range to a ridiculous amount. The only thing this weapon has lacking is it has less zoom than other SMGs out there, but still, I think this thing really has a chance to be like the meta choice in the next season. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.